Welcome back to our cybersecurity series. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into some of the most common cybersecurity threats and explore the best ways to defend against them. Cybersecurity threats come in many forms, from ransomware attacks that lock up your data to phishing scams designed to steal your personal information. Understanding these threats is the first step toward defending against them. We'll walk through the most prevalent threats in today's digital landscape, and I'll show you how you can protect yourself and your organization. And stick around for the bonus content where we'll take a look at real-world cyber attacks, breaking down how they happened and what we can learn from them. Let's start with one of the most pervasive threats, phishing. Phishing attacks. Phishing is one of the oldest and most common cyber threats, and it's still highly effective. Phishing attacks occur when cybercriminals disguise themselves as legitimate entities, such as banks, popular websites, or even your employer, to trick you into providing sensitive information like login credentials, credit card numbers, or other personal data. Phishing can happen through emails, SMS, smishing, or even phone calls, vishing. In many cases, phishing emails contain links that lead to fake websites designed to look exactly like the real ones, where attackers collect your information. How to defend against phishing. Be skeptical of unexpected emails or messages. If an email asks for sensitive information or contains an urgent request, take a moment to verify its authenticity. Never click on suspicious links or download attachments from unknown senders. Look for warning signs. Common red flags in phishing emails include poor grammar, spelling mistakes, unfamiliar email addresses, and odd URLs that don't match the official domain. Use multi-factor authentication, MFA. Even if attackers steal your credentials, MFA requires an additional layer of authentication, such as a verification code sent to your phone, making it harder for them to gain access to your accounts. Security awareness training. For organizations, conducting regular phishing simulations and employee training can help prevent employees from falling for phishing schemes. Ransomware. Ransomware is a particularly dangerous form of malware that encrypts a victim's files or systems, rendering them unusable until a ransom is paid. This type of attack has surged in popularity over the past few years, with high-profile attacks targeting hospitals, municipalities, and even major corporations. In a ransomware attack, victims are often presented with a message demanding payment in cryptocurrency in exchange for the decryption key to unlock their files. Refusing to pay may result in the permanent loss of data, while paying the ransom doesn't guarantee that the attackers will restore access. How to defend against ransomware. Back up your data regularly. One of the best defenses against ransomware is having up-to-date backups of your critical data. Ensure that these backups are stored offline or in a secure cloud environment so they can't be accessed or encrypted by attackers. Patch vulnerabilities. Ransomware often exploits vulnerabilities in outdated software to gain access to systems. Regularly apply software updates and security patches to close these gaps. Use endpoint protection. Implement endpoint detection and response, EDR, tools that can detect and block ransomware attacks at the endpoint level. Tools like CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, and Sophos Intercept X offer robust ransomware protection. Disable macros in email attachments. Many ransomware attacks are spread through malicious macros in email attachments. By disabling macros, you can prevent ransomware from being executed on your system. Distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks. DDoS attacks occur when a network or website is overwhelmed by a massive flood of traffic, causing it to crash or become unavailable to legitimate users. Attackers often use botnets, networks of compromised devices like computers and IoT gadgets, to generate traffic from multiple sources, making it difficult to block. DDoS attacks are often used to disrupt services, damage reputations, or extort companies by demanding payment to stop the attack. High-profile DDoS attacks have taken down websites like GitHub, Twitter, and Reddit for hours, causing significant financial losses. How to defend against DDoS? Use a content delivery network, CDN. CDNs, like Cloudflare or Akamai, distribute traffic across multiple servers, reducing the impact of a DDoS attack on any single server. Deploy a DDoS protection service. Dedicated services like Cloudflare's DDoS protection or AWS Shield are specifically designed to detect and mitigate DDoS traffic, keeping your services online during an attack. Implement rate limiting. Rate limiting helps reduce the effectiveness of DDoS attacks by limiting the number of requests that a single IP address or user can make to your server. Maintain a redundant infrastructure. Distributing your servers across multiple data centers or cloud providers ensures that if one site is hit by a DDoS attack, your services can still remain operational in other locations. Man-in-the-middle attacks, often referred to as MET-M attacks, are a serious cybersecurity threat. In a man-in-the-middle attack, a cybercriminal intercepts and potentially alters communication between two parties, usually between a user and a website or service. The attacker might monitor the conversation or inject malicious data to steal information, manipulate transactions, or even impersonate one of the parties. Common MITM attacks include Wi-Fi eavesdropping on unsecured networks and session hijacking, where attackers take over a user's active session to gain unauthorized access. So how can you defend against MITM attacks? First, use encrypted connections. Always connect to websites over HTTPS, which encrypts your communications. Make sure the website's URL starts with HTTPS before entering sensitive information. Also, avoid public Wi-Fi for sensitive transactions. Public Wi-Fi networks are prime targets for MITM attacks. Avoid logging into accounts, conducting financial transactions, or accessing sensitive data on unsecured public networks. Lastly, consider using VPNs. Virtual private networks, or VPNs, encrypt your internet traffic, making it much harder for attackers to intercept your communications. Use a trusted VPN service when accessing the internet over public or unsecured networks. SQL injection is a type of attack where malicious SQL queries are inserted into input fields in order to manipulate or gain unauthorized access to a database. Attackers can retrieve sensitive information, modify database contents, or even delete entire databases. This type of attack is particularly dangerous because it can be executed with just a few lines of code, and, if successful, can lead to significant data breaches. How to defend against SQL injection. Use parameterized queries. One of the best defenses against SQL injection is using parameterized queries or prepared statements, which separate SQL code from user input. This ensures that user input is treated as data, not executable code. Input validation. Always validate and sanitize user input to ensure that it conforms to the expected format. For example, if an input field expects a number, verify that only numeric data is accepted. Web application firewalls, WAF. Deploying a WAF can help detect and block SQL injection attempts in real time by filtering out malicious traffic targeting your application. Conduct regular code audits. Regularly auditing your application's source code helps identify any vulnerabilities that could be exploited by SQL injection attacks. While external attacks tend to grab headlines, insider threats, where employees or contractors intentionally or unintentionally cause harm to an organization, are just as dangerous. Insider threats can include data theft, sabotage, or simply careless handling of sensitive information. How to defend against insider threats. Implement least privilege access. Employees should only have access to the systems and data necessary to perform their jobs. Implementing role-based access control, RBAC, helps minimize the risk of insider threats. Monitor user behavior. Use user behavior analytics, UBA, tools to monitor for suspicious activity, such as unusual access to sensitive data or frequent login attempts from outside normal working hours. Conduct background checks. Before hiring, conduct thorough background checks on employees who will have access to sensitive information, especially in industries like finance, healthcare, and government. Regular employee training. Educate employees on cybersecurity best practices and the dangers of insider threats, especially around social engineering and data handling. Now, for some bonus content, let's take a look at a few real-world examples of major cyber attacks, how they unfolded, and what we can learn from them. 1. The WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017. In 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attack spread rapidly across the globe, infecting hundreds of thousands of computers in over 150 countries. WannaCry exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows that had been previously disclosed by the National Security Agency, NSA, and leaked by a hacking group known as the Shadow Brokers. The ransomware encrypted data on infected systems, displaying a message demanding a Bitcoin ransom in exchange for the decryption key. WannaCry hit major organizations, including the UK's National Health Service, NHS, which had to cancel thousands of medical appointments due to the disruption. Lessons learned. Patch your systems. Microsoft had released a patch for the vulnerability months before the WannaCry attack, but many organizations had failed to apply it. This attack serves as a reminder to keep systems up to date and apply security patches promptly. Backup critical data. Organizations with up-to-date backups were able to recover without paying the ransom, highlighting the importance of having offline backups. 2. The Target data breach in 2013. In 2013, Target experienced one of the largest retail data breaches in history, with attackers stealing the credit card information of over 40 million customers. The attackers gained access to Target's network by compromising a third-party vendor, an HVAC contractor, which had weaker security measures. Once inside, the attackers deployed malware to Target's point-of-sale POS systems, capturing customers' payment card information during transactions. Lessons learned. Monitor third-party access. Many organizations rely on the third-party vendors for various services, but those vendors can become a weak link in your security. Implement strict access controls and regularly audit third-party vendors' security practices. Segment your NetSource. Had Target's payment processing systems been isolated from other parts of its network, the breach might have been contained before causing such extensive damage. Cyber threats are constantly evolving, but by understanding these common attack vectors and implementing robust defense strategies, you can stay one step ahead. From phishing to ransomware to DDoS attacks, each threat requires a combination of technical solutions, user awareness, and proactive security measures to defend against effectively. Hey, If you're enjoying this content, it would really help both the algorithm and this channel if you could take a moment to like and subscribe. I'd be super grateful for your support. In our next video, we'll discuss how to build a cybersecurity incident response plan, ensuring that your organization is prepared to handle any cyber attack that comes its way. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.